the fitting sequel to John Carpenter's classic, The Thing Game Explored. Generally in our channel, we talk about critically acclaimed games which didn't do well in the market, or we talk about a famous franchise. But today, we are going to talk about a game that did very well at the time of its release, but still for some reason it faded away from the memories of horror and gaming fans. Today, we will explore The Thing. Movie tie-ins have a reputation for being among the worst video games ever released for home consoles. Movie tie-in games have been fouling up systems for centuries, whether it's industry-destroying rubbish like E.T. or crass cash grabs like 2003's Charlie's Angels. However, every now and then, a fantastic movie tie-in game emerges that really captivates the audience. One of those uncommon games is The Thing's video game adaptation. The Thing, a 1982 horror film directed by John Carpenter, is widely regarded as a masterpiece. It became one of the most memorable horror films of its day, thanks to its horrific imagery and outstanding use of visual effects. The Thing video game, released in 2002, mimics the film's frightening atmosphere, while also providing gamers with a horrific horror experience. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, let's begin. So, let's look at the game in more detail. One of the greatest film-based horror games, The Thing's video game adaptation is more of a sequel than an adaptation of the original material. Following the events of the film, players assume control of a U.S. Special Forces commanding officer whose unit is dispatched to investigate Outpost 31. The crew gradually uncovers an extraterrestrial life form that is wreaking havoc on the outpost. The terrifying alien-like organism has the ability to change into any living creature it comes into touch with, making it tough to track down and eradicate. It's up to the players and their tiny militia to track down the otherworldly beast and put an end to its terror reign. The Thing is a third-person survival horror video game developed by Black Label Games. The game picks up where the movie ends. For those who haven't seen the film yet, here's a quick recap. Unwittingly, a group of American scientists stationed in the Antarctic is introduced to an extraterrestrial monster that can survive in any living body. In this case, it's in the form of a dog, which appears to be a regular dog on the outside, but is actually a thing masquerading as one on the inside. The dog escapes from a Norwegian base camp, where it is pursued by a helicopter, which crashes in flames. The Americans take in this seemingly harmless dog, and that's when things in the American camp start to change. Dogs start acting strangely, humans start freaking out, and both start to transform into a creature. They soon discover a chameleon-like creature among them, and the foul-mouthed Kurt Russell decides to use a blood test to pick out the imposters. Soon after, the film begins to move, with some of the grossest, bloodiest, and gooeyest sequences this side of Alien. The squad eventually drops out one by one, and the monster reveals itself as a massive, gory, pulpy tree-like beast, so the surviving two guys decide to blow up the entire camp in order to entirely wipe it off. Unless, of course, one of them is the Thing. There's more, but I'll save the finale for people who haven't watched this fantastic film, which is still entertaining to watch. The plot follows Captain Blake, a member of a United States Special Forces squad dispatched to the Antarctic outpost portrayed in the film to find out what happened to the research team. The game begins a short time after the events of the film at U.S. Outpost 31 in Antarctica. Two Special Forces teams from the United States have arrived to investigate the U.S. camp, a nearby Norwegian camp. Captain J.F. Blake leads Bravo team, which is investigating the American camp, while Captain Pierce's Alpha team is investigating the Norwegian camp. Colonel Whitley is in charge of both teams and communicates with them via radio at all times. During their investigation of Outpost 31, Bravo team discovers the Blair, Small Things spacecraft, as well as a tape recorder with a message from R.J. McReady about how no one can be trusted anymore. They soon discover evidence of an extraterrestrial life form infiltrating the base, which is capable of replicating the physical appearance and attributes of any biological being it consumes. They also discover the body of a child who died of hypothermia as one of the two survivors at the conclusion of the film. McReady, the film's other survivor, is nowhere to be found. Bravo team put up C4 explosives across the facility on Whitley's orders, which were detonated remotely, destroying the outpost. I know all of this might sound a bit confusing if you have no idea about the movie, so let's not blabber about the plot anymore and shift our focus to the gameplay. The Thing's core gameplay is a typical third-person shooter. The player character Blake may run and shoot, strafe, crouch, interact with the environment, communicate with NPCs, and use tools like flashlights, fire extinguishers, and flares. During the fighting, the player may even switch to a first-person perspective for more precise aiming. However, the character cannot move in first-person mode except to sidestep a bit to the left and right. Pistols, grenades, sniper rifles, flamethrowers, shotguns, machine guns, assault rifles, grenade launchers, and mounted heavy machine guns are some of the weapons available. Health packs, explosives, ammo, portable blood test kits, and adrenaline injections are among the other goods in the game. There are 3 types of enemies. Scuttlers are little creatures made out of infected personnel's limbs and appendages. They are quick, yet weak, and may be taken out with a single shot. Walkers are bigger and more powerful than scuttlers. To kill them, the player must first use firearms to weaken them before utilizing the flamethrower, as only fire can kill them totally. Bosses are far larger and more powerful than walkers, and while each one takes a different technique to destroy, the basic concept remains the same: weaken it with gunfire before burning it. The addition of several NPCs that accompany Blake at various stages during the game is one of the game's key elements. At any given moment, the player can command up to 4 characters. Blake and 3 non-player characters. Engineers, soldiers, and medics are the 3 sorts of NPCs in the game. Fuse boxes, which regulate locked doors, computers, and save points, may be repaired by engineers. Engineers and medics have higher health, but soldiers have a superior shot. As a result, they are more equipped to battle. Medics can heal Blake and any other injured NPCs, and they have an infinite supply of health packs. The Thing's very unusual trust mechanism is one of its most distinctive features. In tense times, players must maintain a positive connection with their teammates and keep them calm. If a teammate dislikes a player, he may refuse to obey their commands, or even try to murder them. If crew members witness too many unsettling pictures, they become afraid and paranoid, prompting them to act recklessly. The Thing's very unusual trust mechanism is one of its most distinctive features. The trust mechanism controls whether the NPCs will obey Blake's commands and fight with him. The player must first verify that the NPC trusts Blake and does not suspect him of being a thing.
I need an engineer.
Okay.
There are 4 degrees of trust for NPCs: red, amber, green, and 100%. They believe Blake is a thing and will attack him if he is red. Amber denotes that they are unsure if he is a thing, and while they will not attack him, they will not obey his commands. Green indicates that they have faith in him and will obey his commands. 100% implies they have entire confidence in him, will obey his commands, and will back him up even if he fights another NPC. Blake can offer NPCs guns and ammo, heal them, put himself in danger to defend them, or use a blood test kit on himself to show he isn't a thing to earn their confidence. Accidentally shooting teammates, taking away teammates' guns or ammo, or pointing a weapon at them for an extended amount of time to force them to do anything are all actions that erode trust. The fear mechanism determines how terrified an NPC is. Normal, terrified, and crack up are the 3 stages of terror. Blake has a limited amount of time to lessen an NPC's fear level when they reach crack-up mode, otherwise the NPC will kill themselves, assault Blake and other NPCs, attack the environment, or die of a heart attack. Each NPC reacts to their environment differently. For example, physicians are more easily scared than troops. However, entering blood-splattered rooms, entering dark regions, finding unusually mutilated corpses, being assaulted by several foes, and hearing attackers but not being able to see them all raise terror. When an NPC is terrified, their performance suffers, troops become less precise, engineers take longer to repair fuse boxes, and medics take longer to treat characters. Blake may lessen the fear in NPCs by giving them adrenaline, replenishing their ammo, moving away from specific spots, or destroying adversaries. A technique for determining whether or not an NPC is afflicted by the Thing is also included in the game. It is called an infection system. Although most NPCs are scripted to turn into a Thing at certain moments in the game, they can be infected at any time. When the team is attacked by opponents, infection is based on a probability mechanism that allows any teammate who comes into direct touch with an enemy to get infected. Although the infection has no immediate effect on their behavior, it does cause them to transform into a walker Thing after a certain amount of time, at which point they will attack the squad. It takes some time to get into the Thing, and some gamers may find it irritating, but I'm confident that if given the chance, the Thing will not disappoint. The more you play, the more rewarding and demanding it becomes, and the more you become engrossed in it. And the Thing isn't made for a helpless young kid. It's an M-rated game, and it's chock full of gruesome violence, exploding bodies, and gobs of blood to prove it. There's also some bad language, which is becoming more typical in video games these days. All of this is in keeping with the film's topic, which has been handled with great care and deliberation. The Thing is worth your time and money, with the exception of the blood test gaffes and the poor narrative. It's a terrific action-adventure game, and sure, it's also a decent survival horror game, which we'll all need at some point. Why the Thing game needs a remake. The Thing video game garnered outstanding reviews and sold well, with cover art that pays homage to the iconic poster from the original film. A sequel was planned, but after creator Computer Artworks fell into receivership, the project was cancelled. The sequel to The Thing was never developed beyond the idea stage, as the business lost its financial and creative autonomy. But that was back in 2003. Now it's time to rebuild The Thing for next-gen systems like the Xbox One X and PlayStation 5. The Thing, directed by John Carpenter, was not an instant hit when it was released in 1982. However, the picture grew in popularity over time and is now regarded as one of the best horror films of all time. Part of the film's success can be attributed to its extensive use of practical effects for gore and body horror. Because the graphics in 2002 couldn't handle it, certain components are toned down significantly in the Thing video game. Remaking The Thing for next-gen consoles, on the other hand, may precisely capture the gore and body horror that made Carpenter's movie so unforgettable. Now, it is rumored that The Thing is receiving a new film adaptation, with John Carpenter committed to the production. With a new film on the horizon, it would be an ideal moment for the video game to be rebuilt or updated for next-generation consoles. But the game and the movie revival might benefit from each other's success, and it would surely pique horror fans' interest in both projects. The Thing's gameplay stands up rather well, even for a game released in 2002. The film's biggest shortcoming is that the limitations of its graphics prevent it from fully exploiting the gore and body horror that made it so unforgettable. With a cinematic revamp on the way, this would be a great moment to use next-gen visuals to give the Thing video game the makeover it deserves. That's it for this one. Like the video if you enjoyed watching it, and please do subscribe to our channel if you are new. Also, comment on what other games you want us to talk about. See you at the next one.